Dear Venerable Sister and Brothers, Dhamma friends, we are going to start the day's talk. Everyone settle down for the talk and give the consent with 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Namo tasse Bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhasse. Svakhato bhagavata dhammo sanditthiko akaliko ehi passiko opanayiko pacchattam veditabbo vinyuyiti. Dear Venerable Sister, brothers and Dhamma friends, as you all know, these are the 6 qualities of the Dhamma and recited in Pali. It's a very common recitation among the Buddhists when they pay respect to the Dhamma. And therefore, these qualities can come in contact with us, as I tried to mention last time also, in 3 ways. One thing is theoretical understanding. The 6 qualities. The second thing is the word meaning and the definition. How do you understand Swakkata quality separate from Sandittika quality? Sandittika quality separate from Akalika because they have their own specific meanings. Or delimited, discrete meaning. And the third aspect is how do you feel? How do you experience Swakkata? How do you experience the Sandittika, Akalika? So therefore, when and where we advance, take time with these qualities, their understanding mode, the theoretical understanding, contemplative and the inferential understanding, and the last one is the direct touch, or under the nose, under your very nose understanding, like it is increasing, and each and every time, it is very oceanic in feeling. You feel as and when you change, advance from the theoretical understanding to the inferential, it's very lucrative in the sense, very profitable when you go there. And further when you experience it, also giving so much of energy, energizing. So we have dealt so far the early 5 qualities. Today accordingly we have to think about, we have to take the 6th quality, pacchattam veditabbo vinyuhi. It is called, it's been translated as directly experienceable by the wise. So that means it is no after the life, it is here and now and under your very nose, but still is experienceable not for each and everyone, only by the wise. So therefore some start at the theoretical level. It is what you call merit making, out of these 6 terms. And some go understand the etymological meaning, nuances, shades, definitions, and that is theoretical way in the universities and in the academic bodies. And further, some feel, together with the theory understanding and the inferential knowledge and the academic understanding, feel like experimenting. That is what we call the yogi. They are not happy just by mere listening or theoretical understanding or book knowledge. They are still not happy with their etymological definition, and of course, they are getting more and more energized and try to experience it. When and where they get that urge, that's called kusala chanda in Pali, we get it, they are completely get into a complete new sphere and wanted to have so much of inputs, understanding, teaching techniques, trial and error, and when and where you have to understand under your very nose, there are so much of benefits are there. There are so much of advantages. So if you are to open the book Visuddhimagga, the path of purification, it says when you are contemplating on the Dhamma, that is called Dhammanussati, there's a set list of benefits, and they are highly recommended thing, because it is not every man's business. It's a very rare people can go into and get the real sap, real essence of Dhamma, and therefore that very particular person then and there get the benefit of Dhamma. It's a kind of protection, and when you feel it, you get more and more addicted into, plunge into the same, go deeper. So therefore specifically Pacchattam Vejitabbo Vinyuhi, whenever you directly experience the true Dhamma in a wise way, your appreciation towards the Buddha is with leaps and bounds. You understand what a person, to understand without the second one's help, and to proclaim and recommend for the commoners to understand such a thing, because it is none of the commoners' business. It's such a profundity. So when and where you see, when and where you experience Dhamma only, you really see Buddha. Otherwise you will see the concrete Buddha, you will see the brick Buddha, you will see wooden Buddha. It's okay. But true. Your Dhammam Passati, Somang Passati, the Buddha mentioned, whenever someone is see the Dhamma under one's very nose, they are the people know the Buddha. And therefore, the Venerable Maha, giving the meditation techniques and everything, he says, the dispensation of the Buddha, or the message of the Buddha, not in the big chaitya, or not in the big the relics, and not in the big ceremonies, but it is in the chest of the, or heart of the practitioner. For him it is the living thing. More and more practice. Pandita Sayadaw used to say, you feel like sitting near Buddha. You feel the smell of the robe of the Buddha. This is what message he gave. And so far we were coming nearer and nearer by theoretical understanding, inferential understanding, and when and where you experience, you feel the enormous faith on the Buddha, as well as to understand what does it mean by Dhamma. It is evolving, it is changing you, it never leave you for 2 split seconds in the equal way, evolving. It is refining you. So where Dhamma is such a dynamic thing, just like a welding burner, it's burning, making so much of heat and melt it. Anything can melt. So more and more you go to it. At the beginning, you may resist is telling it is unwantedly changing my likings and disliking, unwantedly changing my personality traits, unwantedly changing my timetable and everything. But when and where you put into the correct perspective, you see that is the Dhamma by word meaning. If you take the Dhamma as a separate and away from you, that's something dead and gone. When the Dhamma becomes dynamic, it is not 2 things. Your dynamism and the Dhamma dynamism exactly the same. So ultimately you feel like giving, because then onward everything happening is towards a more and more comfort area or least frictional area. And you understand so far with your theory understanding, so far with your worldly understanding, how much you have inhibited, how much you have hindered the natural unfolding. By more and more you practice, you fit into the system, let the nature to flow, let the cause and effect happens, you become an observer or distance observer and vigilant observer, immediate observer. So much so the qualities of Dhamma become proven by itself. So therefore Dhammagarava, the respect for the Dhamma also arising, and kind of the faith you are developing. It is not the faith upon the statue of the Buddha. It is not the faith upon someone imposed upon you, but it is happening through your own. So that faith is called Okappana Saddha, as if you climb down to the water. Now you know you are in the water. Not only you see the water, but plunge into the water like this Okappana Saddha going to happen. So you are ready for anything. That Saddha make you so pliable, so malleable, so adjustable, and you become very innocent. You let the Dhamma to work. So much so the Saddha happen. Sometimes, of course, you have here and there doubts arises, and that is also make your life more colorful. It's make more eventful, and again it disappears because your Saddha or your faith is go beyond your rational mind. That is happening only when and where you come close with Dhamma, when and where you experience Dhamma, and therefore rapture, the gladness and the kind of a happiness, you find how inefficient these bloody fools outside search happiness through money, search happiness through physical things, search happiness through consumerization, search happiness through luxuries, so fanatic, they expect the happiness is outside. When and where Dhamma comes, the piti pamujja, that means the gladness and the happiness, come in and you feel like sharing, but everyone have doubts. They think, for our happiness, there should have a big bank balance. There should have the insurance. There should have children to take care. And there should have all the facilities, amenities assured. Then only you can happy. But the Dhamma you give utterly otherwise. No relationship, no dependence, no expectation. And that is that openness, make it, but that never happen unless otherwise you experience Dhamma under your very nose. To what extent is the problem? To what extent you must understand to get that kind of a confidence. If I am to cite one example, and very, very old article there was in a Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, regarding one of the world-renowned swimmer, a girl, and she was about to go to the Olympics, and when at the last competition at the national level, foolish way, she hit the border margin. That's the way she become cancelled from the game. And it is like intruding into the other's field, like everyone is swimming. And immediately when she is mistakenly touching, it became like a big electric current, and she knew she'll be kicked off, and her performance will be null and void. And she explained, 3 years continuously start to cry because she lost the chance. And therefore depression, everything happened. So her national instructor used all the possible ways to make her reinstalled in her personality, confidence, but at a failure. But luckily, that instructor came to know a team of meditators and scientists went to His Holiness Dalai Lama, and they started a kind of a rapport. And this information would give a completely new way of understanding about this kind of stress. And he luckily went into a meditation course about 10 days. The instructor. When he come and recommend that girl, never mind, don't worry, it is not related to the swimming. You go to the meditation retreat. And overall supervision on the scientific studies was done by Richard Davidson. And then, after 3 10-day retreats, she completely recovered and re-applied for the national game. And that day she won, and that day Canadian Broadcasting Corporation asking her to come for an interview, and there she is smiling, and she's now ready for the Olympics. And at the end of the article, the person who has consulted Richard Davidson, the scientist, he says, my main concern was when you are practicing mindfulness, how many intensive days, how many intensive weeks, how many hours you must practice to earn your confidence. And when he is asking this question from His Holiness Dalai Lama, he mentioned, for his understanding, to get the full conviction, you must have 10,000 hours of meditation. And then the scientists, American, completely desperate, who the hell in America can practice 10,000 hours meditation? And he told that is to get the confidence and to get the fully recovery. And he was reducing it with the consultation with His Holiness Dalai Lama. And to that particular person to understand this is positive, this is a trend, this is developing. And he came out with 3 months intensive, 3 months continuous practice. And he also participated, and he felt after the 3 months his positive character and confidence and contentment, yes. But he says, on the national level, I can't recommend for Americans to go for 3 months for continuous retreat. Then he went into 10-day retreats, first time, second time, third time and while it is happening, he put the practitioner under the functional MRI scan, and with the help of the instructor, with the conducive condition, and if the meditator is prepared, God prepared, how many days? Then he reduced the threshold into 3 10-day retreats. And he tried to show, when someone is taking a retreat, 10-day, 1, 2nd, 3rd, how much the different rays emitting from the brain, and how much the confidence coming with the help of the instructor and all the facilitating and factors and kind of thing. If the person is prepared, then only he came 3 10-day retreats. And therefore, meditators, even if they are meditating, even if they get the direct experience under their very nose, the conversion to the confidence may or may not happen. It's utterly coincidence. So, that depends on how much you prepared for this meditation experience. Because our rational mind is utterly cheating. It is utterly perverted. Whenever meditation is progressing, it entertains doubts. It is fearful, uncertain. So therefore you change the master. You change the meditation center. You change the object of meditation. Or you think that today there was one person tried to explain, maybe I am not sleeping enough, that's why meditation is not happening. Her all good experience consider as bad, all the bad consider as good, and then arrive at a decision telling, because everything is because I don't get enough sleep. Bante, can I sleep or can I get enlightened? Buddhu venawa or buddhi venawa. So clearly you can see how unprepared or how perverted or how cheating your mind to give the interpretation each and every tiny little experience. So where is the changing happen? To consider them as positive, to consider them as sign of progress, that's a completely independent thing. So Pachattam veditabbo vinyuhi, Pachattam means it must be direct experience. Each and every of you have exactly the same experience. But some consider them as positive, some consider them as completely negative. It is it's kind of an electric thing. It's a kind of spontaneous thing. Richard Davidson in the later book, he says, how that happened, whose agenda, why some people consider this positive and some people utterly fail to consider positive, he says he can't even design a research. It's such a coincidence. So therefore, whatever the meditation you do, when is the confidence happen, when is the contentment happen, when is the peace of mind happen, where the point you understand the solitude. Instead of solitude, you may understand you are cornered. You feel like you are alienated. Aloneness and loneliness appear like two similar terms. So aloneness is a spiritual experience, but if you read this as a loneliness, you will go to psychiatrist. And you feel fear. You entertain doubts. You appear everything is threatening. Instead, if you can understand that's a kind of loneliness, aloneness, the Buddha appreciate, and how can I understand when and where I feel alone is a blessing. It's an endowment. So, very difficult. Specifically, I am not an expert to express about this Western psychology and kind of thing. And you can see, when you go to the Western countries, the developed people, facilities, amenities, infrastructure, community, everything is there. How much people are living in uncertainty? How much they are living in fearfulness? How much they are spending money for defense services? Enormous. And they think they are the rulers and they are the first world people, other people are third world people. But when and where you get the Pachattam Vejitabbo Vinyuhi, direct experience under your very nose, and if you read it in a correct way, at that time when you are reading, you feel like Buddha is completely unconnected to that situation, because that is my own correct reading only made me positive, made me put into the track line. It is such a coincidence. But later you can understand how much effort Buddha has already taken for you to take this so-called negative thing into the positive. That is what does it mean by Buddha Ratana, the jewel of Buddha, and Dhamma Ratana, the jewel of Dhamma, Sangha Ratana, jewel of Sangha, and your precepts. So when and where you put positive values for that, you are under the nose experience, each and every one is contributive. Or in other way we can say, each and every thought moment of mindfulness is cumulative. But it's an unfair combination. Up to a certain extent, you don't feel it. You can't gauge it. Instead, you may misunderstand it. So after a while only you understand, when that is happening, you are better off. You are in a completely capitalistic system. Then onward you know the ways and means how to promote it. But that is the most important part. Therefore, I feel like telling, enlightenment is not so important. This is the important point. When you are meditating, where you get the confidence. Of course, it's happening in a very, for a small, tiny thing. Once it is happened, you understand I am a human. I have all the capacities, I have all the knowledge, ways and means. But if you do not know what to achieve, you misuse it. Like a foolish carpenter misuse the equipment. They don't know how to use it. So once that is happening, once that happens, you know where to use, how to use, when to use. That is why the Four Noble Truths presented, truth of suffering and the cause for the suffering. This is a worldly part. And cessation, pathway to the cessation. So understanding the cessation is the most auspicious thing. That's the most forward force. And then way leading to the cessation is very simple, because you know cessation is what you have to achieve. But in the worldly sense, cessation is unauspicious, bad omen, negative, don't talk about, that is nihilistic life. So therefore our cultural upbringing, our social values is often work in a negative way. So therefore it is simply we can say your theoretical understanding, your rationalization and your thinking, everything is negative. If you know that, then you are better off. You can put it way. So again I come back to the same point. Rather than worrying about the final emancipation or nibbana, to present you whatever the experience in the mindfulness without the judgment, without analyzing it, without interpreting it, is a clear indication you are on the correct path. Because everyone is better off regarding the mindfulness, but when you are reporting it, today, if I am to cite the example, when you are reporting, there may be some burning sensation or there may be some very cool sensation. So if you are going to say cooling sensation is a good mild post to the meditation and the burning sensation is bad, so definitely you may hinder the burning part and you try to promote the cool sensation so much you are completely crippled, you are completely paralyzed. But instead if you can verily say, when this is happening I have the burning, when this is happening I have a cool sensation, and this is just a feeling, no good and bad, no judgmental, not assuming like that. So when and where you write, you see the type of words creeping into your sentence, type of adjectives and adverbs you are using, indicate your likings and disliking. So once you write your interview report, and if you can read it again and see, your presentation indicate who you are. Moment you understand that, no, you need not to have interviews. But it is very difficult because mind is cheating. Mind is a magician. It never give a fair interpretation, fair judgment. So mindfulness, for the moment, you keep it as the jury and let the case happen. Let the mindfulness to done non-judgmental. Let the mindfulness to unauspicious and just read. So whenever you sit, if you can experience, if you can explain, if you can report what you feel, that is itself is enough for the Nibbana or to the final Arahantship. So to highlight, I used to say, when you sit for 1 hour, for example, if you can give your account, how was the beginning, or the middle and the end of the 1 hour, that you are utterly Arahant. Because everything happening you can report. No judgmental. You have not gone even Anapanasati or in breath and out breath. You have not gone even to the rushing and pulling. You know you are sitting. And while you are walking, if you know for the whole hour, I am not sitting, that report indicates you are Arahant. You see how much detail complicate our things. Every tiny bit of information you mishandle. And you make your presentation is utterly topsy-turvy. And your simplicity, your innocent nature, gone because of your smartness. That smartness called kilesa. That smartness is called mara. That smartness called how you are misled. So therefore, the day you understand, instead of reporting my leg has the heat, this leg has cool, exactly in the same way, that is the best report, most scientific report, but it appear like you have no sensitivity, appear like you are a rock, you are a block of a log, to write it like that. So this is the way the direct experience become a jewel, direct experience become a refined thing, if you can just tell the truth without storytelling, tell the truth without fabrication, and there you find some kind of a boredom. There you find some kind of a monotony. You find some kind of a lack of motivation to go in. Therefore, you try to add condiments, try make it more tasty, so truth will be distorted, truth will be bent. So when and where you experience, direct experience under your very nose, you will definitely understand this simplicity was there from the birth, from the birth. But the expressibility never happen unless otherwise you practice and try to be simple, try to be innocent. Otherwise language is encroaching you. You are misusing it. So more and more you understand, then after explaining these 6 qualities, Swakato, Sanditiko, Akaliko, Opanayiko, Eipasiko, Pachatameta, about what? About your breath. About your being here. Just experience it. But when the people come and meditate, just like the boy I mentioned, even he says Arahant, he is a good guy. We never expect. We think Arahant is something, Nibbana is something. On the way there may be some firework, on the way there may be some ghosts, or maybe some mystics. Your utter Buddhist expectation is utterly mystics. They never understand that under the nose experience. Not that under the nose experience is lacking, but it appears like not exaggerated, so therefore it is not a marketable commodity. You make it more smart, add condiments, then truth is no more. So therefore the direct experience and reporting called Arya Vohara, you know how to report as and when it happens. If you are not meditating, even to you yourself, you don't know how to report, not to the second person, because your organs are cheating you. Your senses are cheating you. So therefore you have to observe what the senses are telling through the mindfulness, not through the consciousness, not through the feeling, not through the perception. They are all cheating. Just see the mindfulness, see, just stop at see. And hear, just stop at hearing. Any other tactile sensation, try to stop at that level, then there is no story. There is no fabrication. And ultimately you find even goes without marking any memory. That means you are enlightened. If anything remaining, that means it has done, you have committed, something happened. So when and where you go to the deep meditation, you have nothing to report. You feel kind of a gap. And if you consider this as a mishap, if you consider this as something mystic, or if you consider it is something due to your bad karma, or your lack of morality, then onward all the interpretations are like that. So therefore, with this all the 6 qualities, what the Buddha mentioned is 37 factors of enlightenment. That is to say, kaya kaya anupassi virati. If you are standing, we understand you are standing. When you are sitting, be aware you are sitting. When you are walking, you are aware that you are walking. When you are sleeping, you know you are sleeping. And one posture to the other posture, where the posture junction happen, if you know it is happening, then that is what you need, what does it mean by the under the nose experience. So therefore, yata yata tatatata viharantang tatattaya upanishati. With that kind of outlook, with that kind of view, if you are going to live, you are utterly a baby. You are utterly a innocent psychology. You are the infant psychology. That's the way it happens. So there are no traces. There is nothing to exaggerate, nothing to storytelling. So when that is happening, our Lokohamro used to say, Visramavino. Visramavino means you don't get exhausted, because each and every moment you understand where are you. And with that understanding, you see, it is inbuilt in us. It is not by geography or physics or chemistry you are learning. Whatever the posture you are display, you know about that. Beyond that or furtherance of that is the breath come into being. Furtherance of that also only happen left leg and the right leg come into being. Furtherance of that only you feel the hand, all the other sensitivity, they are details. If you can keep the track in a general sense about your 4 postures, then you are so friendly with your body. You are happy with your body, it becomes your best friend. Once you become your best friend only, you can find the best friend outside. If you are hating yourself, if you do not like it, then you find outside a lot of friction. You feel like outside people are causing this. So therefore, for foundation of mindfulness, that is Sattara Satipatthana, so Pacchattam Veditabba is not a big thing, but tiny thing, again and again, thoka thokam kane kane, each and every moment, be friendly with your body, understand your bodily posture, and while you are understanding, when and where the attention come within or inside, there are a lot of avenues, there are a lot of ways and means to do fine-tuning, and these are the what you call the breath in sitting, left leg and the right leg like detail in the walking. In the day-to-day activities, how do you feel the sole and the palms? They are details, but therefore bringing the attention to the 4 cardinal postures itself is a great task. But our mind is so conditioned, that's why after coming that, if the mind is not happy with that, just it's not happy with your sitting posture, then the Buddha says, with the understanding of the sitting posture, you can go to the in-breath and out-breath. So my common example is when you go to the beach, the best thing is to look at the horizon. But our mind feels very bored. Then ask to see the waves. Waves are very dynamic. Pacchattam. You can separate it and say this is a big wave, long wave, short wave. But at the horizon, it's a flat. So therefore, it is available. But to make you more motivated, it says, look at the short waves, like in-breath and out-breath like spikes, or left leg and the right leg like events. And when and where it has become profound, it's naturally go to the horizon. Likewise, more you practice, you see whenever you sit, moment you sit, the naturally mind is happy to be within the sitting posture, and that itself indicates you are protected now. You are within the pasture land of mindfulness, and try best to keep within the body. And in order to facilitate only, you will see what are the metabolic functions happening within the body. Take one of the most prominent things such as breath or left leg and right leg. But not seeing the breath is not nothing to complain. Because if you know you are sitting, you are not walking, that is what you have to understand. So, direct experience, don't expect big formulas, don't expect any kind of the heavenly understanding. It's a very simple fact. So when I first time practiced in the 70s, Dr. Parakram Fernand used to say, truth is so simple, no one believes. Truth is so simple, no one believes, therefore we wanted to have big masters. We want to have big formulas. We want to have big theories, and we think that we can't be simple because we don't have theories. So therefore, the one day when you go Pacchattam Veditabbo Vinyuhi, you have to do away with mindfulness also. You have to do away with Dhamma also. You have to, when the mindfulness come up to the maturity, you understand this is something inbuilt. It's a mindfulness also a tool. In-breath and out-breath also a tool. Left leg and the right leg also the tool. So if the doubt happens, when the uncertainty happens, whenever there is a fearfulness happen, take refuge of the primary object. Take refuge of the mindfulness. Once there is no confidence, no doubt, let the confidence to take place, let the contentment to take place. That is the way the early experience of under the nose experience become wider, diversified. That means when and where you take, so to say, 10-day retreat and you understand what does it mean by mindfulness, the advancement of the yogi or the sign of the advancement is your mindfulness later you understand not confined to a posture, not confined to a object, not confined to a meditation center, not confined to the time and space. Of course, at the beginning you had to do it. More and more you advance, you become released from these kind of bondages. So therefore, more and more you advance, your simplicity, direct approach to the present moment is increasing. So that is how his body, the commentators they say, those who understand the Dhamma in all the three ways, it appear like worthy of respect, just like a cheti. Wherever he goes, that knowledge, that very direct touch never leaves him. So therefore, appear like a cheti or appear like a pagoda. Not that he knows all the Tipitaka, not that he is having all the rhetoric power and the seniority. He is simply with the present moment. So therefore his whole body is worthy of respect. And slowly then onward, it is forward leading. And it happens because you see other simple people, you see other innocent people, and they are not much worried about these formulas and kind of thing. They try to be deconditioned rather than conditioning. So you can imagine then what will be and how it will be for the enlightened people, Arahant people and the Buddha. But the way in our Sunday schools and the way our books are explaining about the Buddha and the Arahant is completely different thing. Make them heavenly, make them away from our world, and we think they are praiseworthy because born praiseworthy. They are born to be like that. But the Dhamma says, no, at the beginning, everyone is the same. But they got the message, how to be simple, or rather you can say, how to see the cessation of everything. And the moment you understand that, you are never worried about or carried away by something happen. You are only waiting that is to disappear. When it is disappeared, and if you are unshaken, you understand that is forward leading, whatever arising is to disappear. And it appear like a nihilistic, appear like non-productive, appear like non-creative, appear like non-progressing. But after the first sermon, Venerable Kondanya, that's what his utterance to the Buddha. Yang kinchi samudaya dhamma thabbanta nirodha dhamma. But anything arising has the nature of cessation. So that is the sign he saw the Dhamma. When Venerable Asaji was mentioning about Kolitopatissa, he was asking, demanding, please let me know Bante, Dhamma. And Asaji used to say, no, I don't know, I am an amateur, I can't explain. No, you try. I will try. Ye Dhamma hetu pabha tesang hetun tathagato aha. Whatever the cause, he says, whatever the arising is due to a cause, Buddha says the cause. And that way, 2 steps was enough for Venerable Sariputta to understand. But when the second part of the poem it says, Te sanchayo nirodho tevang vadi mahatamano. Not only the thing happened, but its cause also had the nature of cessation. But the Buddha telling is, not that appearance or the face value, even the cause for this thing happened in the cessation, that was the understanding for the Moggallana to understand. So whenever death happens, whenever cessation happens, whenever about to scatter off, you see how much panic, how much tension and how much storytelling we are doing. That means we have so much of fear for the truth, fear for the unknown, so much so, politicians know how to keep the subject under the tension. They say, now we have this very grave disease, everyone is going to die, so therefore take care. You know, the chikungunya came, Ebola came, AIDS came, all the things. If I am going to say everything is a fabrication, of course I will be falling into the conspiracy theory. It's almost the same. Almost created. It's a chemical weapon made for the Second World War. And once in a way they spread it. And this, be careful. And you see, when such a thing happened, the American economy was collapsing, but that pharmaceutical industry, profit went by 700 times. So all the medicine sold. You see how much they can pay for the media, telling such a disease is going to happen, don't wait, so everyone go and buy the medicine. So they, as for the people under tension, they are almost like beasts, very easy to control. That is how the Maha is controlling us. Our local agent is the politician. He knows, you listen to the news. One after the other they make you tensed. And simply not listening to the news is enlightenment. Our Lokuhamtro used to say, Asabhya pravurtulin gahana pravurtipatra asalagatat nogati. Don't read newspapers. You see energy reserved. Otherwise, whatever the energy you gathered, when you listen to the news reel, you are exhausted. Because it is completely fabricated. Instead, if you look at the breath, if you look at the here now I am, if you look at the right leg and left leg, you see that kind of contentment, kind of recharging. It's a completely two different thing. And you see the majority of people, how much they are carried away by not under the nose experience. This is under the nose experience is very boring. It's very monotonous. If not, they don't say it is impossible. Yes, it is possible, but it's very boring. So therefore, you never appreciate it. So even an individual, when you are practicing meditation, how much you find this timetable is boring? How much do you find this food is boring? How much you see this dwelling and all the facilities are boring when compared to your household doing? So therefore you think, I would have been enlightened much if I get good food, if I get good beddings. And earlier in before breaking the meditation hall, it was a very simple, small meditation hall. There were 17 monks. And there was an intensive meditation course in Nissarana. And of course it is the kind of a regimentation. And each and every person has an assigned place by their kuti numbers, and people were sitting, and hardly enough walls to allocate for 17 seats. Now if someone going to happen, how to find a wall? The hall is small. Because after a few minutes, everyone lean against the wall and starts snoring. And but they are living in the meditation hall anyway. So ultimately, Katakurunde Jnanada used to say, if there are no walls, many would have enlightened. So instead I told, Bhante, what about putting a middle wall so that we can accommodate more yogis? So that is the way we attribute our understanding is external facilities. That instead, if you can be aware, another one breath, another one step, more than yesterday, that is the way. If you understand, everything is my main task is to see the cessation. Can I see another breath come and goes? Can I see another step, the disappearance? And that if you have that kind of attitude, how much more breaths or how much more steps you can understand. To make that more irony, Venerable Jnananda used to say, when you are sitting, of course you know you are in the breath, but boring. And you feel like get up and go. Instead, if you can understand the next breath is my last breath, how much you will be more attentive to the last breath. So that is what Marananusati, each and every breath you have to understand, if this is my last breath, how much I will pay attention like. So that kind of ways and means you understand if you have the correct perspective. So whatever the one step or one breath, one step, if you can increase it, of course I understand that increasing of the number of thought moments or breaths or steps must be with the understanding. If it is so, ultimately that become a day-to-day affair. Tatatata viharanta tatattaya upanishati. Day by day you understand your mindfulness at least increasing in quantity. And later it's gathering the momentum in quality. So if you do not understand this breath or moment of mindfulness is the key, if you are expecting a magic, if you expect external thing, that's the place it is only the direct experienceable only for the wise people. If you are religious, I easily complain you are expecting magic. Religious people are expecting magic, expecting external. When you become Dhamma, the difference between Buddhagama and Buddha Dhamma is Dhamma people never expect any magic. No quick differences, changes. The same thing gathering the momentum little by little, and he understands everything is within. That change makes the complete difference. And for that, if you try to see what are the lacking things, what are the not available things, there's nothing in your list. Your breath is there. And I heard that Professor Lakshman is giving very nicely, he mentioned, you must not worry to breathe. Breath is not something to worry. Even if you can't be aware of the breath, nothing to worry. So breath is the birthright. And when you are walking also, next step. So likewise, try to make the whatever you experience, whatever you gathered so far, just furtherance of one more thought moment, furtherance of one more breath, or furtherance of one more step. We will say anger. Now you are in anger. And try to understand when the anger come and play in my mind, how it is working without escaping, without finding ways and means to get out. See another thought moment to anger. So I have to edit. Don't angry with the anger, yet another for 1 minute, one thought moment. And whenever you have the desirable thoughts, just try to be one split second, one thought moment more, but if it must be with the awareness. Even the sleepiness, so when it sets in, if you can understand and don't worry, just take it as an opportunity. I am prepared, yes, sleepiness is coming. What is doing, you can see the congealing mind. You can see the workability is reducing and understand these are the immaterial part, and when and where it is happening, if you know under the nose experience is the most important thing. So when and where it happens, use them as a raw material for your meditation and continue. And for that, you must have prepared mind or appreciating kind of mind. Everything, even the anger, even the desire, even the ignorance is happened due to cause and effect. It is not to torture you. There's no person to torture you. But if you consider this as cause and effect, and to be with it without getting angry with that, without escapism, then only you can understand they are happening in each and every human mind. I am not the only person. But each and everyone get carried away, reactive, and assuming, instead, can I be patient and observe it? And the norm, the rule of thumb the Buddha given is, you must first be patient with the materiality, then only you can go to the mentality. So once the materiality, so to say, in-breath and out-breath, or left leg and the right leg, furthering one thought moment, one step, one breath, indicates how to deal with the materiality, and ultimately it is leading to the mentality part. And once you develop the confidence on the Dhamma and try to believe my experience, internal experience only matters, not the my interpretations. And when that happens, after a while it becomes contagious. It becomes that other people also try to feel it. That is how that particular person become worthy of respect. So therefore, once it happens, no more it is your personal quality. At the beginning, of course, there is a will. Of course, there is a volitional contribution. But once it gathers the momentum, it becomes pervading thing. So then onward, it is no more your personal quality. So at the beginning, it appears like a selfish. It appears like I am very limited and I try to enlighten myself and don't worry about my family members. I don't care about the social relationship, so kind of thing. But once it is come, so therefore, without having that kind of a direct experience, pachaka knowledge it is called, whatever the help you are going to give, nothing but a disturbance to your partner. Main thing is heal yourself. Understand yourself, and not doing also then onward helpful to the society. So very difficult to communicate that kind of a fact, because our mind is been so conditioned. We take that helping others and thinking about other well-being as a very, very compassionate thing. Sorry to say, for the meditators, it's a vested interest. You just escape from the present moment in terms of helping others. If you are not healed, if you are not prepared, if you are not qualified, whatever you do, you also got bogged down in the same, and others also get in trouble. The Buddha given, if you are bogged down in a muddy place, if you see other people in a muddy place, while you are in the muddy, can you raise the other person? Best thing is to you to get out. And once you come up to the safe land, then you can help it. So therefore, pachatam veditabbo, when you go there, you will see each and every compassion, each and every loving kindness is a perverted kind of a sex feeling. Each and every compassion is a perverted form of hatred. So each and every these quality, there's a shadow. You can't see the shadow if you do not know how to see the totality of the picture. Once you come up to the Pachatam Veditabbo Vinyuhi, you see when you put a candle, of course you create light, but the candle itself is making a shadow to its foot. You never see the shadow. You see the candle. Likewise, each and everything you do, even the metta, karuna, mudita, upekha, each and everything says, once you understand direct experience is the thing you're going to give a permanent lasting change. Instead, if you think my other duties and other thing and compassion and love may be, but each and everything has its own shadow. So you may see these, our senses, eyes are very happy with seeing, ear is very happy with listening, and when and where it happens, you think it is your prime duty to give the multivarious visions, multivarious sounds, multivarious smells and taste and kind of things. So 24 hours not enough. But if you can check it, whether the eye is working for your well-being, whether it is leading to the frictionless area, or your ear, or your nose, or your tongue, when and where it is happening, they have their own agenda. And If you do not understand Pachakka Pachattam Veitabbo under your very nose, you think it's a prime duty, not only my eye, ear, nose, tongue and the body, my children, my family members, my nation, everyone must be given the visual object, sounds and kind of thing. So the day you understand they have their own agenda, that is to make you eccentric. Not to be here and now, not to be mindful. So once you understand the becoming mindful is against the grain, and to use the knowledge, use your senses for that, and there's nothing blocking you. It's a kind of a view, it's a kind of a understanding, preparedness, that change. When that is going to happen, my main prime task is at the beginning to be mindful about the already given body, and for that we have everything. All the other complicated thing we expect not much significantly important. So when that happened, that very understanding, I am endowed with my body, endowed with my breath, endowed with my left leg and right leg, steps. And that understanding make your contentment, and the Buddha, more than anything, that is what he wanted to pump. That's what he wanted to teach you. Please understand you are a human. And be aware that your body is dullabho manusatta patilabho. Then only you love your body, you become your best friend. And instead, whatever you do, there are two kinds of things. One thing is sensuous way, you be distracted and bewildered and eccentric. And in the meditation, upaklesas, or the cheating thing and perverted thing, they also distracted, make you eccentric. Each and every time if you can see, in order to not to fall into that trap, only you take the primary object. Take the primary object as your refuge, as the way out for the confidence, entertaining doubts, and ultimately you learn the art. Once you become advanced, even without the primary object, you can balance yourself, or you can maintain your equilibrium. And when that happens only, you feel Dhamma is not to just read it and get merit-making business. Dhamma is not to just understanding the word meaning and the definition, but is to experience under your very nose. So you have to see that your early steps, your early mistakes, and early theoretical understanding, early your rational knowledge, not gone in waste. Now only they come up to the maturity, and that is called pachatta. Pachatta means discreetly, one by one. Theory knowledge is yes, but it has its own limitation. And then the rational knowledge is yes, but it has its own limitation. It's better than theory. And when you go there, pachatta veditabbo, you know more than that, the knowledge is there. In-breath is different from outside. Out-breath. Out-breath is different from the in-breath. Beginning is different from the middle. Middle is different from the end. When you see that kind of a discrete understanding, you see, more you go in detail, the changing nature is very prominent. So therefore, whenever Jnanarama used to say, if you can simply give a thought, preparedness for the four elements, Hatara Maha Dhatu, such a swift way they are changing. They are utterly telling, don't trust me. But the whole day we are trusting the Hatara Maha Dhatu. We expect the more lands, we expect four kind of thing, and we think that is the richness. But they again and again coming and telling, don't trust me, which is so transient. So when and where you to understand the breath even disappears, the heat, air, hardness, softness, stiffness, tension, how quickly it is changing, and understanding that, be aware of that, be face to face with that, it's so boring. It's very monotonous. But that very clearly shows the commentators also says, when and where you with the breath or with the heat, stiffness, tension movements, mind cannot have any kind of a hatred, desire or ignorance, but this boredom, of course it's happening with the hatred. If that boredom happened without the hatred, if the boredom happened with the wisdom, that is, we can say, the changing point. That's our turnover point. Whenever boredom happens, whenever monotony happens, whenever doubt happens, whenever uncertainty happens, if you know how to make the gladness out of that, if you know how to make the rapture out of that, then you understand the game, understand Dhamma, understanding the under-the-nose experience, and that is, later you may understand it's a kind of a interpretation for the loving kindness. Any boredom happen, any distraction happen, any negative thing happens, you try to make a gladness out of that. So therefore, samatha way, that's the way samatha is happening. Anything you try to be happy with that. Never try to reject or find escapism. But there's an insight way also to go to the cause and see cause also appearing and disappearing, the results also appearing and disappearing, see the disappearing part. So any phenomena, when you take a group, some people go through the glad game. They also very, very encouraging. Other people can see the cessation part. The cessation part, we can say the people select for the insight type. And the people see the glad game, they can have kind of a solace in the samatha way, and within a one person also, both can happen. You must understand when to use the glad game and when to use the cessation part. And if you feel that you are learning that art and it is gathering the momentum, don't try to accelerate it, don't try to be smart. And that is the accumulative result of all what you have practiced. So therefore, to end the talk, I would say, there's nothing new you have to accumulate. Nothing new you have to accrue. Only the thing is, things available, putting in the perspective, and once that is happened, and that means once you learn the art of that in the correct perspective, and you see potential-wise or possibility-wise, two people are not different. We are endowed with all the potential, endowed with all the ways and means. It is hidden, it is inhibited as we don't know the preparedness of the path. So therefore expect that, but don't make it a reason to be tensed or frustration. Beautifully, Pandita Sayadaw used to say, do the whole duties, fulfill all the duties you have to do without expecting of results, without an expectation of results. That you can say the definition for the innocence. Do the utmost what you have to say, but don't have any trace, any result expectation. Then you see, we are in a huge human family. We have enough raw materials till we get this perspective. So that is the ultimatum, that is society at large, expectation also. And it is almost similar with your own liberation. So therefore, don't take it as personal. It's the society at large. Try to see all the facilities and potential is with you. Only the perspective. And for that to get this changeover, utterly you have to fulfill duties. Don't think you are a slave. Don't think that someone is pushing you. And when you are fulfilling, that itself is a contentment. So therefore, then what is you are going to get is the direct experience, and you understand what does it mean by the wise person in the sasana. It is not the wisdom by the number of words you know, or theoretical thing you know, or skillfulness. This is the skillfulness. I don't know whether I have communicated very clearly about the point that I wanted to elaborate. I hope you will also add your rationalization or your wisdom and make the proper combination and make the meditation more and more a hobby rather than a regimentation. With that remark, I would like to sum up the talk today. Thank you very much for attentive listening.